Rathalos, Tigrex, Fatalis, the Monster Hunter series is known for their top-notch monster designs. But which of these beasts ranks above the rest? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down for you folks what I believe are the top 10 best designs in the entire series. Now, this is just my own opinion, and I'm taking more into account than just their physical appearances alone. This is about the entire design concept as a whole. And like I said, since this is my own opinion, it's completely fine if you feel otherwise. In fact, I encourage you in the comments down below to leave me a list of your own top 10. But with that out of the way, let's get the countdown started, shall we? Number 10, Tetsukabra. In a series filled with a plethora of dragons and dinosaurs, I felt it was only necessary to include a type of creature we don't get to see too often. I absolutely love the aggressive look of this beefy old toad. Tetsukabra sports a striking orange and indigo coloration that we can find in certain real-world amphibians like the poison dart frog. Its massive jaws harbor two large tusks that it uses to crush its prey and even lift huge boulders which it will fling onto its opponents, smashing them to dust. I am an absolute sucker for any creature that rocks some fat tusks. I put them on plenty of my own creature designs as well, maybe even too often at times. Number 9, Alatreon. I debated back and forth on which black dragon I would be including on my top 10 list. And even though I love Fatalis' design, especially White Fatalis, I feel like Alatreon is a superior concept as a whole. This immense elder dragon is the entire package. It sports razor-sharp black scales along its body, and atop its crown sit two large serrated horns. But these horns aren't just for looks. They're actually what gives Alatreon its ability to harness the various elements. It can transition back and forth between these active elemental states, making the fight itself against this dragon incredibly interesting. I also like the fact that Alatreon is said to be elementally unstable, meaning it's not quite in full control of its powers, causing them to leak out of its body and devastate its surroundings. I remember the first time I went up against this baddie in Monster Hunter World, and let me tell you what, it took me a good long while before I was finally able to best the beast in combat. Definitely had me raging a little bit, I must admit. But like so many other tough monster fights in this series, when you finally do conquer Alatreon, man does it feel satisfying. Number 8, Seregios. While most people would favor Rathalos as their favorite true wyvern of the series, I myself find Seregios to be a more fantastical creature design. Dubbed the Thousand Blade Wyvern, this aerial master is covered in lustrous gold scales that it uses like knives to fatally rip apart its foes, causing them to slowly bleed out. I love how the concept artist incorporated birds of prey into this savage assailant's design. From its razor-sharp bird talons to its piercing eagle-like screech, it definitely stands out from other draconic species in the series. I think my favorite thing overall is the fact that its quill-like scales can frill out and rattle as part of an intimidation display, giving it an even more badass appearance. Oh yeah, and the whole knuckle-walking thing is just the cherry on top. So sick. Number 7, Lagiacrus. Yes, I know the common pronunciation is Lagiacrus, but the first time I ever saw this Leviathan's name, I read it as Lagiacrus. And I think my way sounds cooler, so that's what I'm going with here. Nonetheless, this serpent-like ocean dweller is universally renowned as a fan favorite in the series, and it's easy to see why. The Great Sea Dragon's design incorporates traits from real-world animals such as crocodilians and snakes. It sports beautiful cerulean blue scales and a pale, soft underbelly, and its back is lined with striking crimson-orange dermal spikes. In Monster Hunter lore, it is known as the Lord of the Seas and incredibly feared by sailors. I love the fact that this titanic sea-dwelling beast harnesses the power of lightning to take down its foes. There's just something about the combination of water and electricity that mesh so well together, kind of like chocolate and peanut butter. I will say that I'm disappointed this fan-favorite monster hasn't made an appearance in the past 2 mainline games in the series, and I'm really hoping that we get to see his triumphant return in the next installment of the franchise. Number 6, Nergigante. Big, brutish, and ferocious beyond measure. Nergigante is the embodiment of everything I like in a monster design. Nicknamed the Extinction Dragon, Nergigante is such a force of nature that even the other Elder Dragon species think twice before daring to confront the behemoth. Its thick, bristly hide has an awesome color scheme of black with purple and orange accents. Atop its skull sit 2 massive bull-like horns which it uses to bulldoze through enemies with ease. While Nergigante doesn't have any sort of flashy elemental powers, the special ability it does possess is every bit as awesome. Accelerated regeneration. Imagine if Wolverine from the X-Men was a monstrous dragon. That's what we have here with Nergigante. I remember starting up Monster Hunter World for the first time and seeing it burst onto the scene, instantly setting the tone for what would be, in my eyes, the absolute pinnacle of the Monster Hunter series. Number 5, Gormagala. I'll be honest here, the first time I saw images of Gormagala, I didn't exactly feel like it would be a monster that would one day become a favorite of mine, but damn did that change when I actually confronted the beast for my first time ever in Monster Hunter Rise. This demonic dragon is unique in the fact that its massive wings act as an extra pair of powerful limbs, which it uses to pin down its prey. Its body is covered in dark, exoskeleton plates, and on its face sit 2 horn-like appendages that actually act like feelers as its eyes are hidden. I really like how its wings are reminiscent of a shadowy cloak, giving it that little bit of extra edgelord status. But perhaps my favorite thing of all is that the Black Eclipse Wyvern is just a juvenile form, which molts its dark shell and emerges as a brilliant, heavenly beast in Shigaru Magala. I've always been fascinated by the dichotomy of good and evil, heaven and hell, so monster design that embodies that very thing makes it an automatic on my list. Number 4, Bazelgeuse. I will never forget the first time this epic unit of a creature crashed its way on screen like a stealth bomber aircraft during my playthrough of Monster Hunter World. Everything about the explosive scale wyvern's concept just oozes with epicness. From its all-time great theme to its incredibly unique design, Bazelgeuse is truly a standout in the series. This immense flying wyvern is covered in thick, armor-like bronze scales along its back, and on its underbelly are protruding scales that it drops down on its foes like superheated bombs. This aggressive brute is basically the aerial equivalent to the monstrous Deviljho. There's almost nothing more memorable than being out on a hunt for a totally different monster, and during mid-battle you hear the epic theme music cue signaling in the kamikaze assault of the great Bazelgeuse. And damn did it kick my ass so many times throughout my time playing. But I will say it was totally worth it getting to experience that epic feeling of, oh shit, here we go again. This beast is unquestionably responsible for one of the most standout moments I've ever had in a Monster Hunter game. Number 3, Zinogre. I mean, let's be real, everyone knew the Thunderdoggo would be making its way onto the list. Arguably the most beloved creature in the series, Zinogre is just about as perfect of a monster design as I've ever seen. It's got it all. A strikingly beautiful color scheme, a great blend of both scales and fur, and an instantly recognizable silhouette. Zinogre is basically a Super Saiyan as it goes through multiple levels of powered up states. It can let out a howling cry, summoning thunderbugs to itself and increasing its powerful electric abilities. And when this fanged wyvern is fully charged, it is truly an incredible sight to behold. I will say though that I do feel a little bad beating up on the pup since it's also pretty cute and would make for a totally badass pet. Number 2, Malzeno. This is a pretty easy one for me to put up high on the list. It's a damn vampire dragon after all, how could you not like the thing? An absolutely beautifully designed creature, I immediately became enamored with the Silver Duke Dragon back when it was first revealed to us for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Aside from its awe-inspiring physical appearance, Malzeno's entire concept as a whole is just a slam dunk. It has a symbiotic relationship with these small creatures called the Kurio, which it uses to drain the life force of both enemies and prey alike. Upon draining enough energy from its victims, the great Malzeno will enter into an epic powered-up state called the Bloodening, and in my opinion, that's when the fight against the Dark Beast becomes one of the most fun in the entire series. I've definitely been guilty of sitting back mid-fight and just gazing upon the dragon in all its splendor while my teammates try bashing its head in. Sorry about that. Just can't help myself sometimes. Number 1, Glavenus. If you've been a subscriber to my channel, you already saw this one coming a mile away. It was basically love at first sight for me when I discovered this devilish brute wyvern. The only thing I like more than dragons are dinosaurs. More specifically, theropods, such as your Tyrannosaurs, or in this case, a brutish Carnotaur. I'm not sure how many different artists at Capcom schemed up the concept and design for this badass hellion, but to whoever it was, I salute you. This fantastical Jurassic monster brings out the inner child in me like no other creature in the series. My favorite color is red, it's red in coloration. I prefer heavily armored tank-like creatures, it's built like a brick shithouse. I lean towards fire as my preferred element, it spits magma from its mouth. My favorite weapon in the series is a greatsword, it's got a freaking greatsword for a tail. It's as if Glavenus was designed specifically for me. I even have a statue of this thing sitting here on the shelf above my PC. Oh yeah, and let's not forget about how epic the battle against this beast is as well. The fact that it uses its teeth to hone and sharpen the gigantic blade on its tail, turning it into a fiery hellblade, is just the dopest concept imaginable. I really can't say enough amazing things about this creature. It's just the perfect representation of why the Monster Hunter franchise has the greatest creature designs in the entire gaming industry.